We are back in Planet Zoo today. My name is Adam. If you're new around here, then hit that subscribe button if you do enjoy the content. Now, creating this habitat and creating one of 3 of the buildings what we're going to have in this enclosure, and this started it all off for me really, to be honest. I wanted to create like kind of like a barn like hard shelter for the animals, and I think I pulled it off. I mean, the colours are very authentic, and I wanted this habitat, this enclosure, to be as realistic as possible. So you're just seeing some stop motion pictures now of how it came together, really, at the start of it anyway, and then we're going to go into a bit of a speed build segment and I'll talk you through it a little bit more. But once I got this main build, well, not main building, this is the main hard shelter for the animal anyway. This is how it came out looking. You can see I've created another little kind of like barn area as well. It's very farmy, this habitat, very farmy. So let's go into that and take a look. I started off with very plain, again, all wood and all wood roof. As you can see, a little bit of foliage to the left hand side as well, what I added in a little bit of rock work. So now let's add a little like outside gated area where, again, just kind of, I wanted to do this habitat as realistic as possible, to kind of like what you would actually see in a zoo, if that makes sense. Yeah, so I added this gated little area, added a barn door, some windows, and then it was time for some props. So I added some like baskets and a brush and some plant pots and some pallets. And then to the front of the building, again, I need to go a little bit more prop heavy to give that realistic effect. So we've got a wheelbarrow, we've got some watering cans and a hose, and a water canister thingamajiggy, whatever you want to call it. And then the main barrier, what's going to separate the guests from the animals. Again, I wanted it to go realistic and quite authentic and rustic, and I just feel like these mesh pieces work with pretty much any piece you throw in, really. And once I've got that main barrier, it's just a matter of then setting the path out and setting the main barrier around the path out. I normally put the path in first, but I don't know why I did this. I just wanted to concentrate on how I wanted the buildings to look. And then once I got one building in place, as you saw at the start, then I knew how I wanted all the buildings to look. And you can see me just fiddling around with these barriers now. I think the mesh piece is so versatile. I use it for pretty much every barrier, me. And I think these wooden pieces with like the wrapped wire around the edge, they're actually from the Australian pack, I believe. So if you've got the Australian pack, you will have these. Now it's time to just do a little bit of gap filling here. I've got the main barriers in, and I just wanted to fill these gaps. And I don't know if it's just me. Let me know in the comment section below. But when I'm doing foliage work and rock work and filling in these gaps around habitats and around zoos, in fact, I find it really relaxing. I don't know what it is. I don't know if that's just me being weird, but let me know in the comment section if you feel the same way. And by the way, if you want this habitat, again, it'll be in the Steam Workshop page. Everything I create on the channel will be on my Steam Workshop page. But yeah, filling in these gaps with different height variants of foliage and different kinds of foliage as well, using this very versatile grass, what I use in every build. I think this might be out of the aquatic pack. That might be wrong. I think that is wrong. And then moving on to these rocks at the front of the main viewing area of the enclosure. And you can recolor these. I've actually been pronouncing these wrong. Someone actually corrected me in one of my last videos. I've been saying Forks rocks. Apparently they're not called that, they're called Four rocks. I mean, the person could be having me on, but yeah, I got a comment saying they've actually pronounced 4. So I do apologise if they are pronounced 4. So yeah, 4 rocks as well as some foliage parts. And then once I grouped a group of rocks together, let's fast forward a bit and see how it came out looking. It's just a matter of duplicating things over and moving things around. You see, I've added some different variants of foliage as well in the inside of the habitat. And then the third and final building, again going with the same theme, and I'm using these wood pieces and the mesh pieces again. These wood pieces are brilliant. They're one of the new wood pieces in the conservation pack. I love them, and they're recolorable, but I do really like the colour what they initially come as. I don't know, this colour of brown is just really good, and it looks really good with the mesh pieces as well. So again, just adding that around, fiddling it around, trying to figure out where I wanted it. And yeah, this habitat, you probably already figured out, is going to be for, now forgive me if I pronounced this wrong, if you watch any of my videos you will well know that my pronunciation is awful, hence why I've got forks and 4 mixed up with the rocks. I'm going to pronounce this as the Scimitar-Horned Oryx or Orcs. I don't know. Please forgive me. I know I've got dyslexia. I do find it very difficult, not just to spell things, but to actually pronounce things. Having a Mancunian British accent doesn't really help with that aspect as well, so do forgive me, especially if you're watching overseas from America or anywhere else. You're probably thinking, what is he going on about? And at this point I'm just blabbering on. So yeah, you can see me just placing these all the way around. I say it all the time, once you've got one piece, you've got all the pieces, just a matter of duplicating them over and moving them over. I decided to do it open again, so it looks a bit more realistic, but also the animal can actually, I'm going to call him a goat for the sake of everybody and myself, so I don't have to listen to myself pronounce this animal. I'm going to call him a goat. I'm probably going to get absolutely slaughtered in there, but this habitat, I did take a lot of reference images from goat habitats actually. You'll see later on I create some climbing frames as well. They can't actually use the climbing frames, but tend to look really good in the habitat. You'll see what I mean as the video goes on. But yeah, so I wanted like an area for the goats to be able to go in and have another bit of hard shelter. So it's got 3 lots of hard shelter and they can traverse in them. They do fit in them. The hitboxes are brilliant on these animals and they do fit in every 3 of these buildings, even though they are quite small. We end up building the habitat gate not in this building, but in the one what looks more like a barn with the outside area. We put the habitat gate in there and we just wrap a null barrier all the way around the edge. Boom, that's how you do custom barriers. I actually got a comment in one of my recent videos asking how I put barriers in. You could put any solid piece in really in game and the animals will not escape them unless the animals what can climb, but if they can't climb you should be fine to use pretty much any building piece, and then just bang a null barrier all the way around the edge and you've got custom barriers, and your guests can't run away and be scared and your animals cannot escape. Now I know I've already said it, but I wanted this habitat to be realistic as possible, so I added this little area here, kind of like, well, this building is supposed to be like where I kind of want to say trap the animal in, but that sounds a bit mean, but like you know, separate it from the main habitat itself. Maybe if they need some vet work done, if the animal is poorly or ill, the vet can have a look at it, or maybe they need to shut it away from the other animals for whatever reason, maybe it's pregnant or something like that. You see these kind of like areas a lot in zoos. I know it's not a big area, but it's kind of like one animal at a time. I hope I'm making sense, but yeah, I know what I mean at least. And again, with the detailing, it's all about detailing Planet Zoo, and that's how you can make anything come alive. Adding the actual handrail so it looks like these gates can be moved up and down by our lovely zookeepers, and then just filling in some little gaps now, making everything more detailed and making sure everything looks really flawless. Adding a little door on here, and yeah, exactly, this door is not going to be in use, but at least make it look like it's going to be in use, if that makes sense. Adding little bits of trim onto the habitat gates here, as you can see, little handles, and yeah, let's take a look how it came out looking. So this is the main area. You can see I've included some of the climbing frames. Like I said before, they can't actually use these climbing frames, but they look damn good, I must admit. It's not all about what they can use. It's sometimes in Planet Zoo it's what they look like they can use, if that makes sense. Created these kind of little step up areas, as you can see. Don't mind the guest just waving, it's because I've just cut off a path to film this section of the video. Here's our lovely, like I said, I'm going to call them goats, I do apologise, approaching. They are lovely animals. Look at those horns, brilliant. And this is what it looks like from like the guest point of view really. Here's the custom barrier, and you get a real gist of how this habitat's come together now, and I am really happy with it. I hope you are too. Again, if you want it, it is on my Steam Workshop page, on my Twitter and Instagram, and all those kind of links will be in the description down below. Here's another little view of the far end as well. My name's Adam, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next Planet Zoo video.